above 26% protein for Boerboels. Above 26% protein in Boerboels, what's going to end up happening is the puppies are actually capable of putting on a pound a day, and their bones are hollow when they're little, like bird bones.
Yep.
And so when you start packing all that weight on a Boerboel puppy with too much protein on it, what ends up happening is the bones start to bow. They'll either knuckle forward or they'll bow sideways.
Yep.
So, and what's happening is this puppy is growing at such an enormous rate so fast that it burns up all of the calcium, the D3, and the C's in their system trying to keep up with that growth. So you have to supplement that loss, but now you've got a puppy with bowed legs. So the worst thing in the world to do is put splints on them, because that doesn't cure the problem. You have to strip the weight back off the puppies, get them back down to their frame weight, nothing more. And then you have to start putting the supplements back into them. You have to put the D3s, the calciums, the C's, the ester C's. You have to start putting all that back into their system. And once you start getting the levels up, you'll notice the puppy's legs will start straightening. They're not gaining body weight, but they're starting to strengthen their bones.
All she's doing is telling me what I've studied, and that's studying bone formulation and bone density versus weight. So when they see my pups, they go, "Oh, it looks something like this." I guess we'll see. I like this. When the time comes, I guess we'll see. And once they get
Max can tell you my puppies at 8 weeks old are somewhere between 26 and 30 pounds.
Yeah.
At 8 weeks, without both legs.
Look, I'm learning, but I just read all the science. That's all, and I get to apply it now to a Boerboel. Now, you've been doing this for how long?
26 years this year.
So tell me your name.
Melinda Hemmond.
Melinda Hammond. Now, guys, she is the appraiser.
I'm senior appraiser.
Senior appraiser. How many levels is it?
There's junior appraiser, and senior appraiser.
Okay, senior appraiser. You've been appraising for 25 years. When did you get your senior certificate? I'm being funny.
4 years ago, I got my senior certificate from NABA, but I learned to be an appraiser in 2004 in South Africa when I went over there, and I was taught by Cobus Rust, Johan Blumeris, Jaap Mer, Jakub Bassan, even Klaus from the old Eysterbird kennel. I got to spend time with him. And
now, what about the Boerboel are you so fascinated with?
They're the ultimate family dog.
The ultimate family dog. Now, somebody told me that Rottweilers were.
Well, everybody's got their opinion.
No, you know what's crazy? Is when I read in the AKC book, it said a Boerboel can get along with a cat. From the information, it lines up. Rottweiler, a little bit more prey-driven. Trust me, I know we had to get rid of the...
Boerboels aren't supposed to have a prey drive.
I see.
Well,
But they should be able to chase a leopard, they say.
They don't chase leopards. That's not the point. Boerboels are not hunting dogs, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
I saw a dog in South Africa that had killed 3 leopards in her lifetime. And she looked like she had killed 3 leopards in her lifetime.
And what does that mean? She was scarred up, scratched up?
Skin up, scratched up, missing part of her ear. She had tears all over her body. But she wasn't out chasing the leopard. The leopard was in their lambs, killing lambs, and the farmer was out there and put her on the leopard there.
So their main job is to do what?
Guard and protect their people.
So they're people-driven dogs, to say the least.
That's their job. When we went to South Africa and we pulled up to somebody's farms, the first thing that we saw was Jack Russell Terriers. I mean, right around the house.
I got that, the general, you guys know, I got a Jack Russell.
I had 17 of the little buggers at one time. I know exactly what they are. And we pulled up, and we are in a little Toyota Corolla, about a 92 Toyota Corolla, and I'm sitting in the back, and here comes a Jack Russell Terrier peeling around the side of the house. And I mean, it was just on fire. I mean, it was going to kill us. And he said, well, we're going to get out. And about that time, 22 Boerboels come around the side of the house and surrounded the car. And I said, I ain't getting out.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea.
I'm sitting in the car looking out the window, and there's a Boerboel nose pressed up against the glass, and it's fogging up because the dog is breathing on the glass. And I'm like, I'm not getting out of the car. And the owner came out of the house, and he said one word in Afrikaans, and the dogs just dissipated.
Oh, man.
And he motioned us to get out of the car, and we're going, he said,
You're fine.
We got out of the car.
Even the Jack Russell went on.
The Jack Russell went on.
Those are firecrackers, man. Now,
And I asked him about prey driving these dogs. I said, what about the prey drive? He said, I don't want prey driving my dogs.
Yeah.
I said, why not? He said, because they'll kill my farm animals and then I'll shoot the dog.
Oh, wow.
I said, so if one of your best Boerboels gets in your sheep pen and kills one of your lambs, he said, I'm going to shoot the dog. That's my living. My family eat the sheep. We sell the sheep. That's how I make my living. I can't value the dog over my family.
And you know what's interesting, people? This is a small point to make while I keep chastising her with questions, is people often say, hey, let's get into the breeding game. I said, the minute you bring a dog into your life, your cost goes up. Because you can't scale it, sell it, you got to breed it, take care of it, all these other things. That sheep and sheeps will keep making wool, money, there's food, a lot more leverage there, right?
Yeah.
They're only got one job. Let them produce, do their thing, and then let's sell them.
And as we walked around the farm and looked at his horses and looked at his cows and sheep, the dogs were all milling around with us. Mm-hmm. We never went anywhere on his farm but there wasn't at least 6 Boerboels with us. And that was their job.
So what are the top 3 things that you would suggest people be mindful of in the first year of a Boerboel's quality of life?
Temperament. Boerboels should not be allowed to get away with anything.
Woo!
No sleeping on the bed, no getting on the furniture, no tug-of-war play, no rough play with these dogs because you're setting yourself up for failure and the dog up for failure in the first year of their life. So if you're going to spend money and buy a dog, don't set them up for failure. Because in 2 years you're going to call me and crying because the dog has taken over the household.
Yeah.
It's bit one of the kids, it's growling at the neighbors, you can't let anybody in your house. Don't set the dogs up for failure. Do the right thing. Be the leader, be the pack leader. Everybody, says, oh, well, yeah, I'm a pack leader. No, you're a tyrant. There's a difference in being a pack leader and a tyrant. It's in a dog's eyes. Dogs require respect.
Goodness, look, my hands are going up, people, because, shout out to all you love fucking bugs, forgive me. But he was like, hey, I saw you got a new puppy. Do you love it? I said, fuck no. I said, the journey to acquiring a pet's respect is everything. And the minute that pet respects you, you can ask it to do anything. You don't fall in love with anything until you do the work. And part of the work is in good parenting, like you said, and even more importantly, stand on their ass.
And trust is the other thing.
Oh, man, look.
If you don't have respect and you don't have the trust of the animal, you're not going to get anywhere. And at some point in time, there's going to be a big come to Jesus moment, and you're going to be the loser.
Yeah, with a dog this big, you gotta this could turn into an ugly situation.
Years ago, there was a dog that was passed around from kennel to kennel to kennel, and they contacted me and asked me if I wanted the dog, and I said, no, I do not want this dog. He needs to be euthanized humanely. Put him down. He went to a friend of mine. He bit her, broke her forearm. She had to have surgeries. And the dog was passed around and passed around and passed around because he was such a great looking dog.
Oh, man.
And it should have never happened.
Yeah.
The first time he bit somebody should have been the point in time where the red flags went up and said, we can't rehome this dog because we're passing the problem on to somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
it's hard,
I don't care how good a dog looks. If they're going to bite me and they're my dog,
they got to go.
They got to go.
They got to go.
They
there you go. So good temperament, good discipline, a.k.a. just making sure that the dog is properly protected. And then what's number 3 you'd say?
Their quality of food.
Oh, you don't even know me. That's all that matters to me. I'm the
quality food. And you don't have to eat raw. You don't have to feed the most expensive thing in the world to the Boerboel. Because a lot of Boerboels in South Africa, when I was on that one farm, he was feeding them bone meal and bread with milk. That was their diet.
And you know what's crazy? I just read that raw cow milk is super beneficial for dogs.
I can see where that it could be, but I can also see where it would cause problems because humans are the only animal that drink milk as adults.
Well, it's not good for us, though. That's why we're the country that has so much osteoporosis. A lot of other countries don't drink a lot of milk.
Yeah, but see, humans are the only ones that drink milk after they're grown up. Mm-hmm. Animals don't drink milk after they're grown up.
True. We lack the enzyme to even break it down at some point.
There you go.
Especially black people.
I
But
I don't know what to say.
You're hitting on the head because I think one of my goals is to continue to define Jesus Christ. Continue to define what health looks like and what goes into feeding, and how to make sure we optimize the dog's potential, starting with food, discipline, etc.
Dogs that are too fat, I mean, you're loving your dog to death. That is literally what you're doing. You're taking years off your dog's life.
And they're already in here for that long, right?
You know, there was a lady that I sold a Boerboel 2 years ago. Her dog lived to 14.
Mm-hmm.
I've had several make it past 13.
I'm betting on 17 for mine based on what I'm learning from you.
Longevity
Is everything.
is very important to me in my program. I want dogs that live long, healthy lives. I don't want a dog to live a long, miserable life. I want them to live a long, healthy life.
And where can they find you at, social media-wise? You on social media?
I have a little bit of social media. I'm on TikTok, and
Ah.
I also have Instagram, and I also have a Facebook page. But I'm not a big social media person.
Yeah.
I kind of stay quiet and don't get into any controversies or anything.
Well, you don't have to when you know what you know. What is there? Look, shout out to Max.
Guarantee you, I post something, there's going to be controversy. Because
But-
there's always somebody that's a self-appointed expert that's got to.
But that's the beauty about it. Trust me, I post a lot and there's always controversy. But you know what I do? Oh, that's right. You guys watch it. I don't reply because it's not a part of the business
Yeah,
plan.
and I don't like controversy. I'm just,
Oh, see, I don't either. That's why I just tune it out. But what I do love is highlighting people who are informed, educated, and that I can share more.
and I do a 3-day breeders class for people.
See, look, then they got to do, what's your social media so they can sign up?
I don't do it through social media. They just call me on the phone, talk to me if they want to show, if they want to attend. That's fine. It's 3 hard days. It's from 8 o'clock in the morning till about 6 o'clock in the evening, and nobody has passed the tests yet.
Jesus.
Nobody's passed it.
I might look. We get down to the breeding side, people. My job is to continue to highlight the opportunity life provides for you pet parents out there to become pet achievers. And
Don't set your dogs up for failure. Set them up to succeed, because you don't set your children up for failure. You don't want to set your dogs up for failure either, because you've got time and money, and most people have love invested in their animals, and you need to get that back. And the dogs deserve a rich, rewarding life. They deserve to be respected. They deserve to be treated properly. And Boerboels are so intelligent and so in tune to their people. They're amazing. They're an amazing breed. A Boerboel knows what you're going to do and what you're thinking before you ever do it.
I'm glad to be getting this information, people, because as you know, we've got Mowgli, and it's one of Rhino Boerboel's, productions, to say the least. And I'm seeing a lot of things that are making sense.
Rhino's getting a puppy from me.
I know, I heard. And I'm excited because I'm thinking to myself now, I even have more information than I had before I came here about how to lead or be a leader in this dog's life. And as she said, being tyrannical, just like a tyrant parent, kids rebel, and there's always that come to Jesus. A good dog with a good owner will live a great life if just guided right. And that's, as she
And
said.
they'll live a longer life too.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get more fulfilled. You can have a good experience with a Boerboel or a bad experience, and it's all up to you.
But that's life too. It's like 80% stuff happens to you. It's like 20% how you respond. One of the say it's like
Exactly.
flip-flop, but you go, okay, that happened, but how are you going to respond to it? We're going to be better or we're going to get worse? Point is, thank you. This is good information, by the way.
Leadership is really important to a Boerboel. They crave it, they require it, they need it. And if you don't give them that, they'll make up their own mind. They learn by watching.
And you know what's crazy? I feel like the Rottweiler acts the same way in some form of fashion. I know you're not a Rott person, but
All dogs do. And Boerboels are, I was explained back in the day when I first got Boerboels that they are still so very close to nature. They still have enough of the DNA that comes back from their roots from South Africa, even today, that there's things about them that you can see. Everybody likes these big maley females that look like males, and I like them too. But the fact of it is that they're not always reproductively sound. You'll get smaller numbers of puppies. A lot of times they'll not accept their puppies. They're great looking dogs, don't get me wrong, I do like them. But when it comes to a reproductive side of it, you've got to think in more in terms of, okay, Females are smaller defined than males. They have more supple muscle than the males do, and there's a reason for that.
Higher testosterone levels, lower chances even of getting pregnant at times. So many other things. That's a whole other one though, because look,
And food relates a lot to the hormone production.
lack of vitamin E, B6, and a bunch of other stuff. You speak of my language. Look, this is what I do all day long. I do food, she does appraisals, and it sounds like a bunch of other stuff. This would be good. Do you want to give your information in case they want to sign up for the class?
Cedar Spring Boerboels. I'm in Southeast Missouri. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I don't post a whole lot, but I do post once in a while, and sometimes it's normally something that's gone wrong.
Well,
So
there you have it, people. Hopefully you learned something. Been a hell of a day today. I've been waiting for this part of the day. I got to see some, learn some. As I always say, if you're a pet parent, want to become a pet achiever, you want to stay tuned on this channel as we continue to highlight breeds, dogs, expectations, how to take care of the dog as always. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time.
no problem.